All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LOL Tourneys. We are live with this third round match of our mixed division tournament this Sunday, March 23rd. So I'm Pyrotechnics. Joining me is Kingslayer. How you doing, King?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing solid, man. Doing solid. All right, well, we'll get you a little bit of bracket information while we're getting started on this game. The last one you saw, Royal Purple did not manage to take a win off Lag I Swear NA, who will be moving on to the semifinal rounds to face the winner of Do You Fear Death and Gay Big Gaming. This next match will be Gouf Troop versus Dyrus OP, and they're going to be taking on the winner, well, the winner of that game, that is, will be taking on whoever wins between Do It No Balls and Forsaken Gaming. And those are our final 8 teams in this tournament, so we'll get started right away. The picks and bans are actually already halfway through, and they're starting to select people. So for the side of, I believe it is, Like I Swear NA? No, sorry, that was the last game.
Ooh.
Sorry, for Gouf Troop, they're on the left side, and it's Dyrus OP on the right side. Okay, so they decided to ban out Vi, Ziggs, and Thresh, and their opponents banned out Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, and interestingly enough, Shaco.
Shaco is definitely an interesting ban. We don't see that too often. I feel like that's definitely probably either a targeted ban or we recently played against a Shaco and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, he's kind of a wild card, and you don't really want to face off against somebody who's really, really good as a Shaco because although some people consider him underpowered, it's kind of an unexpected pick. He jungles a lot differently than those in the current meta. The tanky, hard engage types, he's a little bit more like Evelyn, all or nothing, assassination. And, some teams just don't like to play against him. And, we see actually the first junglers already being picked for both teams, and they're both opting for that former strategy. Pantheon picked up on Gohan Postdale, Cow Knight taking a Wukong, and the other pick, DC Tears, on Morgana.
Yeah, so definitely expected picks there. I mean, all very strong champions, all in meta champions. Nothing too surprising coming out, but we still have a couple picks left if I'm correct, so maybe we'll see something fun come out.
Yeah, well, we're hovering over a couple of interesting choices right now. Meanwhile, on the side of Gouf Troop, they're looking to hover over that Corki, so this is an AD carry that we haven't seen much in a while. Season 3 was the last time he was really popular, but he did recently get a buff. And, well, we'll see if they decide to pick him up this game and see what he can do.
Yeah, so Corki, a really strong AD carry. People underestimate him a little bit, sorry. But he's one of those champions where you deal mixed damage. So he's like an Ezreal where you don't really have an AD carry. You kind of just have like this hybrid that deals a ton of damage, but it's pretty squishy in the end, but has a getaway. So you have to play it well to do
lock
good.
Him. They pair him up with Dream Pops on Leona. So this is going to be an interesting combination bot lane. Having a Leo to go in there and dive onto somebody, Morgana, of course, should be able to counter a little bit of that with their Black Shield, should she go to that bot lane. But I like this pickup because Corki is a very heavy zone champion. He can get in your business and get out really quickly. That W is a really long dash.
Especially with his ultimate, I mean, with it, you can poke from so far away that it really just allows you to basically just bully your lane opponent to the point where they're really low all the time. And then especially paired up with a Leona, you have that hard engage on top of it, and that just makes things rough for everybody.
Well, the rest of the bot lane looking to be fleshed out for Dyrus OP. They opt for a Vayne pickup. Not exactly what I would have called a safe strategy. Vayne's a really great late game, of course, and that's usually what Dyrus OP likes to go for. But against a Corki, she's going to have a rough laning phase.
Yeah, definitely. The problem with Vayne is her range is so small, especially compared to Corki. And we have to remember, if Corki gets like Sorcerer Shoes with a Trinity Force and then goes like Bloodthirster or something, then that build right there, that's so strong with dealing mixed damage, including using his ultimate, then going in for an auto attack onto Vayne, that the range is really going to bully out Vayne on Dyrus OP if it can be played properly.
And Dyrus OP also opted for the Renekton pickup in the top lane, Bacon Grease, on that Alligator, and he'll be facing off, well, they're still selecting, and it looks like finally the Rock eventually going to lock in the anti-tank himself. It is the King of Trolls, Trundle, and that mid lane pick too. Interesting, he was hovering over Vel'Koz, but Villain Vanilla ends up going for Xerath.
So the thing about Xerath is he's actually really strong. I'm surprised more people haven't picked him up, but he's an incredibly strong champion. I mean, he has a slow, he has a snare or a stun, I believe it is actually. His ultimate, I think, is about the distance of a Twisted Fate ultimate, maybe a little bit shorter, but it's very scary if you think you got away and then suddenly you're getting ulted by a Xerath. Late game, if Xerath is by the time he hits level 16, he can ult 3 times on a buff and take it. So he can be in lane and steal your blue buff and you won't know about it unless you have it warded. So,
Hmm. It's kind of a stark contrast of a pickup. The rest of the team is really emphasizing mobility, and this might be Goof Troop's plan. They have a very mobile 4 champions to choose from, people that can dive into the backline and deal a lot of damage and soak as well. But then they've got Xerath, who pretty much has to sit in the back, pop his ultimate, and then it sort of becomes like one of those old school shooter arcade games where you have to dodge around with the lane and you can't take more than one hit.
yeah,
You ever
it's
play those, King?
yeah, I have a couple. Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. I mean, Goof Troop, they have a really good team comp. If they can land, say, a pillar to knock people up, where like if you put the pillar under someone, it'll knock them up first. But if you can pillar somebody and then follow it up with a solar flare onto 5 of them, followed up by a man drop, and then you have Xerath ulting all of them, that's that's a very scary combination, including Corki picking off whoever's in front of him. But with that Orianna lock-in, that really it's gonna mean for Dyrus OP that if you look at it, they're kind of playing protect the AD carry. I mean, they're kind of running a CLG kind of comp right now. I mean, they have Morgana with the black shield they can put onto her. They have Renekton who can go in, pop dominance, and just basically push people back so that they're not so close range. Uh, the Wukong can really. I mean, Wukong is such a good champion generally because he's able to go in and then knock up everyone that's around someone. So if they all try to collapse onto Vayne, Wukong is able to save Vayne just by using that, followed up by a Black Shield from Morgana, then Orianna and Renekton going in on it. So it's really both teams have really good team comps. It's just going to be who can come out, sorry, atop on the early game because that's really I think where this game is gonna decide who wins.
I really like the mid lane battle that's going to unfold here. Villain Vanilla versus Eliminatria on the Orianna means that this is something we're not going to see a whole lot of, or we haven't seen a whole lot of, because Xerath, as you mentioned, hasn't really been picked up by a lot of people in this tournament or otherwise. So if he can zone out Orianna and get mobile enough to avoid the balls, he should have no trouble really taking a good advantage in the laning phase, but I wouldn't count Dyrus OP out. I do like the protect the AD carry comp that you're mentioning. The late game is really strong. If you get Vayne fed on a couple of kills, take some nice neutral objectives, and just even out the rest of their lanes, they should have no trouble team fighting. But this is going to be a really hard fought matchup between both these incredibly strong teams.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to look at is I'm suspecting that if Dyrus OP is willing to play that kind of protect the AD carry CLG kind of team comp, that means that their AD carry is going to be a very strong Vayne player. And a strong Vayne is a very scary Vayne. I mean, you literally have the capabilities to outplay any single champion in the game with that. So it's really going to be a big factor as to how well Vayne can do. If Vayne can get ahead in farm, that's going to be really big for her. If Vayne's going to be able to pull out some kind of crazy combo, I mean, yes, you have Leona, but the thing with Leona versus Morgana is that Morgana can only use one black shield. So if she black shields Vayne, then Leona can instantly just turn on to Morgana, but then you have to really rely. I mean, Dyrus OP, their bot lane has to be amazing with their synergy this game, because if they turn onto Morgana after Black Shield goes onto Vayne, then that means that Vayne has to be the one protecting Morgana, use that Condemn, hit somebody against a wall, follow it up by a Dark Binding, and really just get that huge 2v2 wombo combo that they really want to get. It doesn't matter who they take out, because even if Leona goes a lot of HP early, I mean like rushing Sightstone, etc., then Vayne will just deal more damage with her silver bolts, and that'll really be good for both of them.
I think it's going to be a solid matchup in the bot lane. If Dyrus OP can dodge around, the Vayne tumbles are going to be absolutely clutch in this because there's so much zone potential that Goof Troop has in the bot lane between Corki and Leona. I think she's really going to need to hit those every single time. Gets locked up once, so Black Shield's not going to save her from taking a lot of damage, especially post 6, once Corki starts building those missiles up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the scary thing about Corki is the amount of mixed damage that he can deal. Yes, his Q got a little bit nerfed, so he can't bully Vayne as much as he was able to. But the cooldown and the charge time on his ultimate, he buffed a little bit, and the charge time was a little bit lowered. So it's gonna help out Corki, I find. Especially, I'm expecting him to go Trinity Force. I could be wrong. He could go for something else, maybe a Bloodthirster. But it's kind of like Jinx rockets when she has her rocket gun out, where you want to build a bit of crit chance also, because I believe Corki rockets can crit.
Yeah, I believe you're correct too. I'll have to look that up just to be absolutely certain. But speaking of Corki, I think in this loading screen, he's got the coolest skin out of everybody, and that's a really bold statement. But it's got to be true.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. No one can say anything about Urf. Urf is best champion, only champion.
Urf is best champion. You can only get him on April Fool's Day, right?
Who needs double lifts when you have Urf?
Yeah, but he's surrounded by a good team. The Penta skin coming out for Gouf Troop. They're rocking the Ruthless Pantheon, the Pool Party Leona, Scorcher Xerath, and traditional Trundle.
Over on the Dyrus.
Cool setup.
Yeah, and over on the Dyrus OP, we have Sinful Succulence, Morgana, General Wukong, Heartseeker Vayne, my personal favorite, Scorched Earth, Renekton, and Orianna. No skin onto Orianna, but actually about that Renekton skin, he kind of looks like an earthworm, not an alligator.
And that's not really a flattering statement, but I suppose when you're a giant alligator, you got to take what you can get.
Yeah,
I like the particle effects on that Vayne, though. You're right. It's a really cool skin.
Yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of the
Heartseeker fan service.
Yeah, it is blatant fan service, but it's honestly probably my favorite Vayne skin, just because all of the other ones are really, in my opinion, they're really gross looking, and I'm not a big fan of it. But
I like the Librarian one. The one of the what's it called exactly? Vindicator. That's the one.
Vindicator, yeah.
I think that's all right, but it was one of the older skins, so it doesn't have any updated particles. It's a bit of a palette swap, but I don't know. I like Vayne with glasses. Glasses that aren't completely glazed over.
Yeah, and then actually, the thing about Ruthless Pantheon is I actually feel like it should be called Pool Party Pantheon.
It's about the same thing. Although he always reminded me, the Ruthless skin always reminded me of, what was it, Machop's Evolution, Machoke? He's got like a huge bulging muscles and like this really thin belt, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just like, look at me right now. Pay attention.
Can't even handle him. So there's like a 4-man invade going on in this bot lane. I mean, they're not really invading, but they're looking for, if the safe route gets taken, Dyrus OP is going to be fine, but if they go through this river rush in the bot, they're going to run into 4 members of Gouf Troop, and whoever goes in there is going to get locked up. There are 4 people posturing around that blue buff, and it looks like Orianna will back away. And here comes the 4-man invade. Are they going to get it, though? Morgana sees it. They're starting off with the blue buff, but they're going to have to give this one up. There's only 3 members of Dyrus OP, and they're going to actually lose. Nope, not quite lose the Wukong. They're chasing. Villain Vanilla wants this kill. He flashes forward for it, keeps on auto-attacking. He's not going to be able to pull it off. Monkey is just a little bit too fast. They'll settle for picking up a free blue buff. No, he does get the first blood. Wow.
Wow, definitely really worth it. That was really good. I mean, first blood onto Xerath is really what Gouf Troop wanted out of that.
This is going to slow down.
It's just going to be good for him.
This is going to slow down the jungle for Wukong quite a lot.
Yeah, and actually that's really good because a Wukong is able to snowball so hard if he goes damage. Actually, Bacon Grease getting so low, the flash from Trundle coming out.
And finally the Rock picking up a kill too. Yeah,
Ignite does tick off. This is a really good start
for Gouf Troop.
Oh yeah,
this has to watch themselves.
Yeah, they're definitely getting a little bit overconfident with what they're doing right now. But I'm expecting Refine to do pretty good on this Vayne. I mean, he is doing really well poking down the Corki.
Yeah,
Corki will excel the
6. A little bit far out, and there he goes. He's going to pop the Phosphorus Bomb, try and zone out Vayne. Refine, though, not having any of it. Now Dream Pop's soaking up a lot of damage in the bot lane, and Ugerm's going to have to back at level 1. So, that's a nice thing for Dyrus.
That's only a level 2 Vayne, too. That's only a level 2 Vayne.
But she's playing a much better early game than her opponent, and that's really what you've got to do when your jungler's already started behind, is get back into that. You need to be aggro. You need to be safely aggro, which is hard to do. But this Vayne is pulling off really nicely, and Corki, not a terrible pickup, but he's been zoned out, and this is bad when you're supposed to be the longer range champion. DC Tears now hiding in the bushes, looking to catch Dream Pop with a Dark Binding, backs him away. No such luck this time, and Wukong, he's just going to farm up his race, hoping to get back into this, but he's already a little bit behind because of that early level 1. He missed out on the blue buff.
Yeah, so he's a bit of CS behind Pantheon and also an entire level, so it's going to be hard for him, but as long as he can hit 6 early enough, he's going to want to stay in the jungle until that happens. It'll really help him out. And Black Shield's going on to Refine.
Is dealing a lot of damage. Is she leveling up the Silver Bolts early?
He actually got it at level 2. And Tourney going really low, actually. Finally, the Rock taking a lot of poke.
Out by Bacon Grease. This is what Alligator does really, really well. By the way, his in-game skin, his in-game images look nothing like that splash art. He's not even close to red.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, I mean, it's
very
actually
different.
cooler in-game. I think it's cooler than the splash art.
He's not even, he looks like a giant worm.
In the splash art, yeah. Ooh, wow, Dream Pops gets locked up down in the bot lane, but U-Germs forcing Vayne backwards. Finally, the Rock covering his health just nicely, but he can't really do anything to Bacon Grease, who is jiving on forward to slice and dice, but he goes too far into tower range. The pillar comes down. It's not a pillar of ice. This is going to be a kill one way or the other. Finally, the Rock ticking down on the Ignite. Who's going to go down in this one? It's going to be nobody. They're both sitting at almost no health. Pantheon coming in to mop up the kill. Can go and take it. Oh, he sees him coming, though.
Oh, yeah. Can he get it is the real question. He's going to be able to, it looks like.
No.
Oh, he gets it.
One spear, all he needs. Pantheon taking the kill. Finally, the Rock going to take some farm. And wow, that's a really nice lockup. 3-0 kills in favor of the Gouf troop. They're rocking Dyrus OP right now, and it's so close, but they've just been taking these little advantages. Oh, wow.
Oh, the damage onto Orianna.
Yeah,
that was close.
That's a nice poke, and with that blue buff, it means Villain can continue to do this over and over and over. Oh wow,
yeah.
U-Germs gets locked up though, there's a pool underneath him, and the Condemn knocks him out of it. He's taken down to almost no health. Dream Pops though is zoning and body blocking. This might very well be the end of Leona. Could be the first kill. Nope, it won't be. Will not be the first kill for Dyrus OP. Refine has to settle for more minion farm and zoning out of lane. Both Refine and DC Tears taken very low in this bot lane, but there is no jungle help quite yet as Pantheon is still making his way through the bot lane.
Yeah, so big thing to think about Pantheon right now, he actually got a second point in his queue before anything else. So that means he really was just, he's looking to assassinate, not to clear his jungle. So I don't think we'll see him farming too much, but...
Here comes Cow Knight though, he's looking on to Villain Vanilla, he's gonna dive in forward. Here he's dealing a lot of damage, but it looks like Orianna's taken low as well. In the end, Cow Knight will pick up the kill. The Ignite goes on to Orianna, will not be enough to take her down. Everybody's getting low this game. This is the first kill for Dyrus OP though.
Yeah, I feel like that probably would have been better onto Orianna, not because she's a kill behind from First Blood that went over to Villain Vanilla, but actually just because of the blue buff, because having an earlier blue buff would have been better on her, but I could be wrong because she actually went back to buy, so now when she goes and gets her jungle blue buff that was taken at level 1 from Villain Vanilla, she'll actually stay in lane, so she'll make more use of the timer on it. But definitely isn't always nice to have a kill on either Wukong or Orianna, so I don't think it made too much of a difference.
Yeah, they're just a little bit behind between the two of them because Cow Knight didn't get his early level 1 blue buff, meaning he couldn't give up the second one to his mid laner, and that's the problem Dyrus OP is having. They have to recover from that early game invade. But finally the Rock is doing a really good job in the top lane. Bacon Grease, of course, holding out 2. He's given up 2 deaths, but it's not the end of the world. He's keeping up in farm, and you know, this is going to mean the jungler has to get up there at some point, but he needs to be helping out the bot lane. Pantheon's actually looking for another bit of counter jungling, and he just keeps the ward in there. There comes blue buff back up, and Gohan's looking to take this. So is Corki and Leona. They're actually going to take the second blue buff away from them as well.
Gonna give it over to Villain Vanilla. Actually, no, it's going to be smited by Gohan. So he does decide that he's going to pick it up.
Now there's going to be a little fight in the jungle, though. Nice pop onto Dream Pops, but it's nothing's really going to come of it. Refine can't really get in position to deal any more damage. Cow Knight finds out his blue buff is gone, but he's already got one, so he's okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, the invade is really good. They're really denying Cow Knight a lot from his jungle. He's still only level 5, tied up with Pantheon, though, getting that kill. Really big thing is we see that Wukong is going for that Spirit of the Elder Lizard, so I think that Pantheon is going there too with that longsword that he has, but Dyrus OP really has to rely on their bot lane right now to do things.
Refine already taken low, knocked out of the man drop range, and here's Pantheon jumping in there. U-Germs picks up the kill with a Corki dive forward. DC Tears down to half health. Very successful gank by Gouf Troop.
Yeah, Wukong just coming around in the back a little bit too late for that.
Yeah, but he's the only one there. He wants to full engage, and he's not going to be able to do anything. They're going to take a free dragon off of this. I don't think Wukong can really engage. Cow Knight just standing in the back, kind of thinking, do I really want this?
He could try to steal it. He could try to steal it. I don't think he will, but he could try.
no, he's going to back away. Now, Dream Pops is really low. He could pick up a kill on her, but no. Goen's already zoning him out. There he goes. Counter comes in with the ultimate, though. He gets a kill onto Dream Pops. Now Goen is taken really low. Ignited. This will be the last tick. He will go down. Eugerm's now chasing Orianna through back to her mid lane along with Villain Vanilla. The Phosphorus Bomb does not land. Here comes Cow Knight in for the leaf after the ultimate from Orianna. Cow Knight picks up a kill. Villain Vanilla is going to be the next to fall. Cow Knight gets a double kill. Nicely done, and Orianna doesn't even die in that trade.
Very well played by Dyrus OP. They're going to be able to pick up that dragon now. They actually took the gold lead with that double kill coming in for Wukong. Actually, I think that was a triple.
For Dyrus. Well, I think it was a double for Wukong.
He got a double. He got a double, but then he got a kill earlier.
Okay, it was the unofficial triple, but that was a really nice collapse. Everybody on Dyrus OP was taken low in that fight, except for Refine, because he wasn't actually in most of that fight. But then they forced the focus all around the map and kept baiting and recollapsing. Wukong coming in with the ultimate was exactly what they needed to contest this, and everybody was already taking Dragon aggro, so they were on the wrong side of that fight. Pantheon overstayed his welcome. That was a really good turnaround by Dyrus OP, and yeah, the gold lead's now showing in their favor by about 1.5K.
Yeah, Dyrus OP doing really good to bring this game back into their favor. I mean, yeah, they lost a blue buff, but if we actually look at a Gouf troop, they're kind of letting their blue buff go. It's just sitting there untouched. Nobody's been there for a while. So they may want to give that over to Villain Vanilla, but Pantheon, he is kind of mana hungry if he's ganking a lot, so he may just take that for himself, seeing as Xerath actually has his Chalice of Harmony already.
This is one of the more action-packed early games we've seen, man. Normally there's a little bit of a slower build-up, but you know, knowing Dyrus OP, they really know how to take advantage of these situations. And speaking of, here comes Pantheon in for the drop. And, well, actually, that was Gouf Troop's Pantheon, but, you know, go in, picking up a lot of damage onto Orianna. Will the last of Ignite take her out? Go in, will throw one more spear to finish it off. And there goes a kill. Mid lane now been mopped up. Pantheon all over the map this game.
Yeah, doing really good. Actually, we do see Cow Knight going in on to finally the rock.
Answer. Here he goes. The ult. Finally the rock tries to pillar down, but it's not going to be enough. Bacon Grease is taken really, really low in this one, but in the end, he gets the kill onto finally the rock. Trundle will fall. That pillar was not enough to slow them down.
Bacon the Grease is so low.
Every time there's an engagement, there's an answer. These junglers have been so active on the map, and I really got to hand it to Cow Knight for making the most of the early game disadvantage he had. He said, all right, you took my blue buff, you've got me behind, you picked up first blood on me. Well, you know, I'm going to turn around and get a lot of kills. Now that he's been 6 for a little while, he gets these really good engages. That knock-up ultimate of his is so fantastic. Cyclone is allowing him to pick up a kill every time he uses it. And maybe then some.
Yeah, and that's really what he's looking for. I mean, a 4-1-2 Wukong, like I said, he's able to snowball so easily, picked up a second log sword. I can't really tell what that's going into, but he does have the boots of mobility, so you can tell he's looking to roam around the map as much as possible and be everywhere at one time. It looks like Gohan is going to go onto Orianna again. They really want to shut down that Orianna. Not paying too much attention to bot lane. It is pretty evened up though. Corki 1 kill ahead, but it should be a good lane.
To that early game, they really haven't given that much attention to it because these games are going to reset. Whoa! Speaking of resets, there's an ultimate onto Orianna. One shot from Villain Vanilla is all it takes. She does get the command Shockwave, but Pantheon will soak that up just fine. He's happy with it, feeding a kill over to his mid laner.
How do you get that out of resets?
How do you get that out of resets? Because it's like you get the ball and it knocks him back, and it kind of like looks like a graphical reset. Well, go ahead and speaking. There we go again. He's getting chased down by Cow Knight in the jungle. The buffs reset themselves. We'll keep talking about resets all game if we have to, man.
We will. I think we should do that. Just mention resets every time possible.
Reset. It's like when you're playing Pokemon and you lose a battle and you just like rage quit really quick and then you turn it back on, or you accidentally kill a legendary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I reset like a million times when that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I would never catch Mewtwo with a Master Ball. I always used the Ultras, and like it was so hard to pick him up. So I would just keep saving and going over and over again like everybody else did.
Yeah, Cow Knight looking for that bot lane, but a ward was put in. Finally, the Rock waiting for the... There's the resets on all of his skills. They're all back up. He's going in for the fight, dealing so much damage.
This is the anti-tank time for Trundle. Forces the flash out of Bacon Grease, who will now try to posture back in, but he's not going to be able to do it. Trundle regenning way too much health, even with Dominance popped. I don't think Bacon Grease can take this. Now the man drop coming in from the bot lane. Refine is caught a little bit too far out. The Solar Flare's going to miss, though. She flashes away from the man drop as well. Refine taking low, knocking all the way back. Go in, cannot pick this up. Villain Vanilla now on the chase too. They may not get anybody, but they will take a tower or leave it really low with 4 people in the bot lane. Orianna looking to make a mid lane turret out of this as well.
Okay, so one thing that I really forgot about actually was that Corki deals mixed damage. That Black Shield actually hold on, Count going really hard onto Gohan, but he is going to get out.
Almost no health. The Phosphorus Bomb though is going to force DC Tears away. Gohan was ignited in that fight, and he could almost go down. He's at like 100 health. He has to back away.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like I was saying, Cow Knight's still staying in that bot lane, taking out the pink wards though. But the Black Shield is actually only blocks magic damage, and Corki does a lot of magic damage. So Black Shield goes on to Vayne, he ults Vayne, he W's Vayne, or Q,
yeah,
I believe it is, sorry.
Was really good against Corki, and actually it was almost a self-counter pick.
Yeah, basically, because then Corki just takes out the Black Shield, and then Vayne is vulnerable to CC again, so Leona can stick onto Vayne as soon as that Black Shield is popped from Corki's damage.
Yeah,
so
it's a nice strategy, and you know, Corki does shred armor as well, so he's been able to really reduce any resistance Vayne might have.
Yeah, so it's definitely a really good pickup. I mean, I didn't think of it, but Corki is almost, if you think about it, he's kind of the counter to Morgana, or even Ezreal.
Well, so, you know, if you have a support that's also going to do a lot of CC, it's a nice way to wear it down because you can't stop the the Black Shield from being popped. You might as well just wear through it. So that's one way to think about it. Cow Knight looking to invade the jungle of Gouf Troop, just puts a ward down deep, and he's going to pick up white for himself. Mantheon like in the bot lane, he's going to be taking red buff.
Looks like Cow Knight kind of turned the tides around. It used to be him getting counter jungled at every opportunity, but now he's the one who's doing all the counter jungling. Really good. He's done so well to catch up into this game. 5-1-2. He's going for that brutalizer. So he also has a Ruby Crystal, so he is going to get that Black Cleaver as soon as possible. But go ahead and possibly looking to man drop soon.
I think that between the two of them, Wukong has a better engagement because you don't see him coming until he's already cycloned on you. Man drop gives a big fat indicator of where you are all the time. So they've been able to roll out of it, and I don't think he should really be focusing on the bot lane. Wow, see, here comes the man drop again, though. We're fine. He's going to get that Black Shield popped, and here he comes, landing onto him, and the Solar Flare lands as well. That is a dead Vayne, and that was the perfect combo.
Yeah, but then Cow Knight in the top lane.
There's the Cyclone answer. Cow Knight picks up a kill, and he's now dominating on this kill. They will get this tower with the minion wave at their backs. A nice answer, but there's going to be a dragon coming out for Gouf Troop. And they're going to, oh wow, they zone Orianna out of this one. They jump all the way onto her. Good ward placement, and that was not the place you wanted to be if you're the mid laner for Dyrus OP. 2 kills and a dragon answered for 1 kill and a tower. I think I know who comes out better.
Was it Dyrus OP?
Might very well be. But no, it's Gouf Troop in that one. They evened it right back up. The gold lead is now down to 1.5k. They picked up that dragon. They're going to take this other tower as well. I think this is really, really good, taking advantage of the situation they had. They saw the jungler in the top lane. They knew they had to give that tower up. No way they could contest it. So they said, you know what? Just turn around on Dragon, and they even got Limit Dread out of that one as well.
So, yeah, that was really well played. The thing with ganking bot lane is that you now have Dragon control, especially when Wukong, right after Cow Knight, he showed himself as soon as they got that kill onto Vayne. And right there, that instantly means, okay, kill Vayne, go straight to Dragon. We have to pick up the Dragon. It's free money right now, basically, and they are still a little bit behind, about 600 gold, so they really do need it. And it's helping them out so much.
Well, it was a bit of a misplay from Elimindrada too. I mean, she's given up 3 deaths so far, and that last one was completely unnecessary. Hiding out in the bush to try and scout out the dragon. They has no support from the rest of Dyrus OP. They could not do anything about that if they wanted to. So there was really no need to sit there, and she ended up paying for it with her life.
Yeah, so looking towards the items, actually, Corki and Leona both picking up pink wards. They really don't want to get ganked by Wukong at all. Speaking of Wukong making his way... He was making his way down bot.
No,
yeah,
both the mid laners are going to go back to resetting in the mid lane. You know, Orianna
they
does
still
not have
still
a tower
had the
to fall
ward.
back on, but
the ward that
other
Orianna died in earlier was still up, so that's how they spotted them coming down. But yeah, item-wise, Corki, he did end up going for that Bloodthirster first. I want to see if he goes for the Triforce. He may not. And Vayne, of course, going with the Blade of the Ruin King for her first item. She's up to the Bilgewater Cutlass and 2 daggers. Just trying to look to get that as soon as she can, just because it's so helpful.
Yeah, I think they're going to be trying to find some little opening. Each team, like, just poking and prodding around, doing a little bit of roam, going backwards. It's entered that stage of the mid game that's always a really weird part when they don't have too many towers. There's only 2 taken. The bot lane's still under contest, and it's just going to be the next big play, the next big team fight is going to turn the tables effectively. Bacon Grease actually forced to pop dominance as he runs away. Finally, the Rock eats a tower shot on his way out, but he's a lot bigger than his alligator opponent right now, and I think this Trundle could be picking up a kill in the top lane as soon as dominance wears off. Finally, the Rocco gets sliced and diced down. Bacon Grease is going to take him really low. Can he pick up the kill, though? Meanwhile, there's a dive in the bot lane. Top's going to reset, and yeah, there's now 3-on-3. A Dark Binding will not land on to go in post-tail. Here comes the Cyclone from Cow Knight. Corki's going to run away. The Solar Flare used defensively. Dream Pop's down to almost no health. Cow Knight gets slowed and exhausted. He's going to flash forward to pick up the kill anyways. Now Corki U-Germs has no health. He's taken down. That's a 2 for nothing. And here comes Gohan and Villain Vanilla to try and even the score, but they can't do anything against this mighty 3-man combo. This tower will surely fall after this.
Actually, that was a 3 for nothing because Bacon Grease actually took down finally the Rock in the top lane. He did get the kill, pushing that second tier, and there's 4 people in the bot lane now with 1 person top, so they're going 1-0-4 right now.
They're going to take 2 towers out of this.
Yeah, they are. It looks like they got that bot tower. They don't have Dragon to rotate to, so they are just going to all recall. But that was a really good pickups for them. Top tower also looks like it's going to go down. There we go.
Yeah, I would think Trundle would have won that fight, but he didn't wait for the Dominus to get worn off. And the Slice and Dice dealt so much damage because he had the Ravenous Hydra to back it up. He's also got a little bit of a defensive items, and he's not building a whole lot of resistances, so he's really playing well to the strengths and weaknesses of his opponent. Finally, the Rock got the Blade of the Rune King, but it really can't stand up to that, and he paid for it with the life and a tower.
Yeah, so I think what it was is it was actually Ruthless Predator, Renekton Stun, that did most of that damage because he only has 1 point in Slice and Dice, but if anyone was wondering, he did go and max his Q first and then his W, so he definitely looks to heal up and then just deal as much burst damage as possible. And a Ravenous Hydra Renekton with his W maxed is actually quite a bit of damage, on top of Dominance doing all that AoE damage that it can deal.
Yeah, I don't think the towers really tell the story of how close this game has been, even though 2 top towers were taken against Gouf Troop. They've been pushing really, really effectively all game, and they do have a mid lane tower to show for it. The bot lane, of course, was taken as well. U-Germ's looking to get caught out, potentially Refined. Takes a lot of damage from Corki. Here's the jump forward. Who's going to win this one? I think it's going to be Refined. Vayne, one-on-oneing like none other, will pop her ult after the fact and pick up some farm.
Yeah, so we can really see Dyrus OP. They're getting ahead now. Vayne, 2-2-1. Refine is doing really good. His farm is... He's ahead of Corki just a little bit, but actually Cow Knight getting caught out.
Yeah, Cow Knight
Zenith Blade does land.
He comes right back around on Dream Pops, though, and Villain Vanilla coming around for the other side. Gohan wants to take this red buff. He does get it. There we go. The Dark Binding won't land on anybody. There's the Solar Flare. It doesn't matter. Cyclone is enough to pick up the kill. Refine will answer that as well, and they're going to clear the rest of their red camp jungle. Or the rest of their opponent's red camp jungle, that is.
Yeah, the rest of their opponent's red camp jungle. You have to realize...
I saw red and red, or purple and purple, and I was like, oh, they're all the same. And then I remembered, no, they're on the other side of the map.
Not quite. Not quite. Close.
Yeah, they're looking to take this mid lane. I think this is the only tower left, first tier that they can take left, and I think they're not going to have any contest because only Xerath is not going to be able to stop this. Villain Vanilla knows he has to back away. Can deal a little bit of damage to Refine. Nice skill shot there, but he will have to back away. Stun's going up, but here's a second tier turret now being pushed by Dyrus OP. They'll actually have to back away now that the minion wave's been exhausted.
Yeah, no minions OP, but...
No minions are OP.
They are, exactly. You know what's even more OP though? Minions.
Oh, finally the Rock sees that his blue buff was taken a while ago, and he's going to take out his anger on the remaining little camps there that would have gone with the Golem, but they've been lonely without their leader. DC Tears eats a Corki ultimate, and wow! Is that going to be a pickup for Villain? No! DC Tears steps right outside of the last hit, and with almost no health, Morgana will get away. She will be able to bake her goods once again. Dragon now being taken for Gouf Troop.
Gouf Troop, they're looking for the dragon, but Dyrus OP, they're on their way. They might actually make it. Their Pantheon is finally getting in. No, it looks like Dyrus OP is just going to give them the dragon. They know that they were there because they saw them take the pink ward. Refine coming in, have a little look, sees people backing away and just goes right back into his jungle.
It was a nice advantage of the timing because they can't straight up fight against Dyrus OP at this point. They've fallen a little bit too far behind. They need Trundle available if they want to take an advantage anywhere, and he's been locked up trying to push that top lane turret. So it was a really good rotation, saying, hey, you know what? We just saw Morgana back. Everybody else can't be in location. Gouf Troop said, we're going to take the dragon, and they got it.
Yeah, it was really well played by Dyrus OP. They've been doing so well. I mean, they were behind a lot, a decent amount of gold. First blood was given over to Gouf Troop. Cow Knight didn't start off with any blue buff at all, and he played it so well. Where he farmed until 6. He did lots of ganks everywhere, definitely improving how his team was playing. And now they're just up in towers. They're up in kills, 5 kills ahead of Gouf Troop actually, and the items are starting to show. I mean, Orianna picking up that needlessly large rod and finishing her Athene's Unholy Grail.
Now Refine getting chased a little bit forward. She might be going a little bit too far ham for this one. Here comes the Mantheon. He's going to drop down, but he does not even need it. Go in post tail, drops on DC Tears, who is going to have to speed up and run away. The Solar Flare is going to land. Is this going to be enough for her to get away? I don't think so. There she goes. Villain Vanilla picks up the kill, and Orianna could not get there in time to defend. Bot lane of Dyrus OP strays a little bit too far forward, and U-Germs and the rest of his team make him pay for it. Well, now looks like finally the Rock getting chased away too from his own top lane. It's a bit of a problem because Wukong has been answering in kind every single time that Trundle has been able to take a slight advantage on his opponent, but Bacon Grease is now at full health. Cow Knight with the red buff. They're going to push on this tower really hard, and with 3 members of Gouf Troop in the bot lane just pushing that first tier turret, there's no way they can defend this should they push a little bit too hard. Here comes Cow Knight around the side. Finally, Rock gets knocked up by the Cyclone. This could be the end of him. He's going to pop his Frozen Domain, put up a pillar, and he'll get away. Okay, nice use.
He was getting.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like they couldn't quite get a nice pick off of that, but finally the Rock showing why Trundle is so good late in the game. He's been really, really fantastic, and yeah, he's been really, really proving his worth so far, just keeping himself in this matchup, keeping himself alive when he really shouldn't be. Between his ultimate and between the Blade of the Rune King, he's been absorbing back a lot of the hits he's been taking in the meantime. So, what exactly does the rest of Dyrus OP need to do, or sorry, exactly does the rest of Gouf Troop need to do to get back into this game? It's going to be really difficult, but to tell me a little bit more about that, we're going to bring in a little bit of a relief caster here. How you doing, Sasha?
I'm doing fairly well, and I'm about to get into game in just a few seconds. For right now, I'm going to be looking at what is on the stream, but I will be in literally 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, so what you've seen so far, I think this is a really, really tough situation for both teams because Dyrus OP has a lead, has a chip on their shoulder. They've been pushing out the turrets really far, but they're getting a little bit too far ahead, and that's giving little advantages back. But here they come, diving out of Dream Pops. They're going in. The Cyclones pop, perhaps a little unnecessarily. Dream Pops will go down. DC Tears picks up the kill, and they're chasing U-Germs and go in post-tail all the way through their own jungle, way back to base, behind the second turret. They're pushing a little too far, though. Villain Vanilla could get a kill off of this one, but there are 4 members of Dyrus OP standing in that push. This is a dangerous point for them to be in. DC Tears having to run away from those Xerath shots, and Refine holds to get away, going post-tail, gets knocked back by that Condemn, and wow, there's a lot of damage being dealt on both sides. Cow Knight looking to come in for one. He does not have his ultimate though. He gets slowed, the Black Shield gets popped in. Here he comes, he's going on to go in. There's an ultimate from Orianna. It's gonna be enough. Refine picks up the kill. Villain Vanilla now backed away from his own tower once again, but he blows up Refine for a nice turnaround. Cow Knight now being chased away by U-Germs. There is just no quarter being given. Both these this entire jungle has just become a bloodbath, and U-Germs gets locked up by the Dark Binding. Has to back away from that one. And yeah, this is just, we can't even describe the action going on between these two. It looks like Kingslayer, you're back though. How's it going, man? Well, maybe not quite yet. So yeah, there's just way too much action going back and forth between these two teams. Finally, the Rock takes the top turret in the complete chaos that was unfolding down in the bottom side red camp. There's way too much action in this game. U-Germ somehow ended up with a red buff after all of that, is going to farm up some jungle. Dyrus OP has to go back to their own base and recoup. They are still up by about 1,000 gold.
We could try.
But they're... Oh, hey, King.
Hi.
You're still lagging out just a little bit. I'll keep on going with the commentary for the time being.
I am back. Sorry.
Oh, no worries, man. It's all good. I've been having a fantastic time taking these team fights. It's been one continuous engagement, one really, really long engagement. After, just one or another, they keep getting a kill on either side of the map, just turning it all around. These teams are so close, so evenly matched. And it looks like Dyrus OP is looking to go for this next dragon. It'll be up in about half a minute. They're looking to clear wards all over the map. There's one blue side ward in that bush on the jungle of the blue team. And I think they want to actually take a jungle pick here. Cow Knight hiding in the bushes down in the bot side. Can he pick it up? Hi again, Sasha.
Ah, hi again. Okay, I'm gonna spectate this game once again, and it looks like our other caster is having a few internet issues, dropping constantly, so I will be taking his place for the time being.
Not as many issues as both these teams are having getting the leg up on one another, though. There's so much CC flying back and forth in this red side jungle. It has been a 5-minute team fight back and forth. People have died, people have come back in. There are 4 men versus 4 men, now 5 on 5. The top laners have finally mustered to go to this bot, and the dragon is going to be taken really, really quickly. Dyrus OP has the burst potential to pick this one up. They could easily take it. I've lost count of the dragons in this, but here comes the man drop. He's going to come in and land on 4 members of Dyrus OP. Cow Knight taken down to nothing. Bacon Grease melts in the fight, and here is Cow Knight with the ultimate, but it won't be enough. Element Trada is going to go down. The double kill goes on to Corki. Go in, diving in under Refine. This is going to be potentially an ace. There are only 2 members of Dyrus OP left standing, and there's only one that has been taken down. Dream Pops fell in that fight for Gouf Troop, and here's the big turnaround. It looks like we will see Cow Knight backing in a bush, but this is a big power play. A huge power play, in fact, for Gouf Troop. They will take out this mid tower. There's no one left to contest it. Gohan is low. Nobody else is really going to worry about it, though. This mid tower second tier will fall. They're going to push all the way forward. Only Cow Knight's here to defend. Can he stop this onslaught? I don't know. Dyrus OP looks to be in trouble.
And it does look like Oriana was coming to the aid as well, so they have 3 people up now. They're going to defend as much as possible, and right now we have Brock just going for the steal onto these buffs, denying as much jungle.
Cow Knight picks up the red buff with the smite. That was a really nice turnaround, really nice, slight little advantage taken, and Gohan knew he couldn't contest it. Finally, the Rod can't really take on Wukong either by himself, so he's going to be forced to go back, clear up his lane from those minions that are pushing down on it. Cow Knight looking to intercept, though. He could get it. He can one-on-one this Trundle.
Yeah, he can if he needs to, and it might be an option pretty soon. Again, that pickup on that smite was a good, making sure he got the red at the end of the day.
Yep, absolutely. So he's just going to say, nah, I don't need that. I'm not worried about it. There's a lot of wards for both teams, but they're emphasizing different parts of the map. The red side jungle, or the blue side jungle, has been awarded all over by the home team, by Gouf Troop. They do not want another engagement like what happened last time to happen to them again without having some serious coverage. But they're getting taken out. The wards are getting put down because DC Tears coming in there with the pink to make sure it doesn't happen again. But she's a little deep now without any support. Green Pops and Gohan are looking to reward the jungle once again. They know that Morgana's in the area, but they don't know that the rest of the teams are also in the area. So they're looking to have yet another fight down in this bot side jungle, and this is where all the carnage has been going down. So far, 32 minutes into this game, there is no clear advantage. Just a lot of back and forth kills.
Yeah, and back and forth kills isn't a situation you want to be in, because it leaves everything up to chance, literally by a team fight. So when everyone's final items are completely done, barons are contested, and a fight comes down, and 2 or 3 people are fallen, you don't have much of a base to defend at that point. And situationally, one team is going to go for the throat of the others and go for a final.
Yeah, they've managed to pick up slight advantages here. Dyrus OP early on in the game has been taking these big ones, but they can't really find any footing right now, because every time they've taken an engagement in the last couple, they've fallen out just a little bit. They get a little out of position. The man drop makes a huge difference, zones everybody either out of the circle or everyone gets locked up, and that's just a huge advantage for Gouf Troop. And here comes another man drop. He's going to actually drop onto Vayne, and he finds Refine in the top lane. Vayne can one-on-one just about anybody, but Gohan dealing a lot of damage to her. The Condemn knocks him back, but I think this is going to be a good one-on-one. Now Gohan's going to go down. Refine picks up the kill. This could be the turnaround that they're looking for. The Cyclone comes in. Wukong is going to pick up the kill on Zereth. Dyrus OP looking strong now in this engagement. Mantheon, that wasn't where you wanted to drop. Finally, the Rock is going to be 3-man. There's a double kill for... Nice pickup for Bacon Grease, and you Germs, the only man left standing. This is going to mean that Baron, you were completely right, Sasha. Here's the big advantage that Dyrus OP was looking for.
And because of this Baron going to be picked up, they're going to rush straight down that mid lane. It's their only option and their best one. But right now, they're taking Baron with only 4 people, and Vayne is pushing that top lane. So they could go for a 2-lane push if they want to, but Vayne is going to have an easier time getting onto that inhibitor turret, as well as the mid taking down 2 turrets to that inhibitor.
Yeah, that was a really nice pickup. Pantheon dropped a little bit early in that fight, and once Dyrus
but we have
Corgi
Corgi coming in pretty well, but as you mentioned before, Vayne.
Yeah, no, Edgerms picks up the kill, so a little bit of a misplay by Refine, trying to solo Corki with not a whole lot of health. Maybe a little bit too cocky, but Vayne in the late game does hyper carry, just not quite there. I think that was a mistake by Gohan. He went on Vayne in the top lane, and Vayne, you know, that's the reputation. Vayne can one-on-one almost any champion.
And I feel like they misplayed, probably got a little bit of communication error out there. And again, as you mentioned before, Vayne getting a little too cocky. She is strong right now. She's 5 and 6, but she's still down on that. Corki is a little bit ahead, but not in build-wise. But again, a little bit too cocky. Had the Baron buff on, had that damage, and just didn't do so well in the fight. Corki landing an amazing Valkyrie and ult combination coming down with a Gatling gun allowed him to just devastate her day.
Yeah, he shreds armor really, really easily with that, and even though Vayne's got a much better build than he does right now, Corki can crit, he's got the static shiv, the Bloodthirster's not super bad for him either, and the Iceborne Gauntlets have been helping him out, the CDR, so he can mass those spells. But there's still 4 people with Baron buff for Dyrus OP, and that's something that Gouf Trip have to contend with. They can't take a full fight at this point. They're down a few kills, they're down some gold. This is where Dyrus OP likes to be in the late game. They've got this protect the AD carry comp. They just need Vayne to be with them. She's been soloing the top lane, and without her, this could be a bit troublesome for them. But you know, they're gonna keep taking little advantages here and there, clearing jungle wards, making sure that Gouf Troop can't really get any footing, and you know, they're just gonna try to outpoke them.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do. They need to go for the situational poke, get some damage out, and then go for a full initiation at it. And they have a team that does that, but a little risky move here because right now Vayne is currently not with the team, so it could be a 5v4 situation if they go for the engage. Again, Pantheon
I don't think Gouf Troop knows it.
Yeah.
They didn't see Vayne, but they weren't gonna count it out. But you know, they were a little hesitant to engage, and they're gonna give up this dragon as a result. They have a ward in the pit. They can tell that it's going to go down, and Dyrus actually gonna look for the steal, but no, it goes a little bit too quick. Count Knight with the smite. Nice pickup for Dyrus OP. They take yet another dragon and widen the gold lead to about 5k.
Yeah, I'm really liking this jungler Cow Knight. He's been landing good smites all game, making sure that he got his red buff early away from Trundle, on top of landing a good smite on the dragon, allowing a little bit of gold to come back into the team, refresh a little bit of blood.
Well, he's caught out though. This is a little bit bad for him. He does actually clone away, and Baking Grease coming into zone. Gohan is gonna deal a lot of damage onto him, and the rest of Dyrus OP comes to the rescue, but finally the Rock picks up Baking Grease. Here comes Cow Knight with the Cyclone. Will it be enough to lock up finally the Rock and Gohan? It might just be. He's gonna get away with the flash. Cow Knight dives in for him. Finally, the Rock goes down, though. They're under everyone's tower. Cow Knight will back away, and they actually lose 2 for 2. But DC Tears and Cow Knight are really low in this fight. Baron buff, not enough to keep them really dominant. Here comes Edgerms for the kill. Can he get it, though? The armor shred is way too much. Edgerms gets the kill onto Cow Knight, who was just a little bit out of position in the entirety of that fight, and they're going to free up this tower to be taken. Well, maybe not. They're going to back away. Limit and DC Tears are a little bit too low to handle this. Dream Pops is low as well, but even with the Baron buff, they're afraid of this. Xerath gets locked up by a Dark Binding. Dream Pops gets locked up by a Beach Ball. It is Pool Party Leona.
It is Pool Party Leona, so a little bit of distraction there. Didn't necessarily want to go full in committing. It looks like Villain Vanilla did not have the opportunity to possibly go in for an all-in. A little bit low in health as well as that mana.
So clutch.
The Dark Binding is really clutch.
If it hadn't landed, he could have bursted down a Limit Drata really easily, and she's kind of been a little far behind this game. Even though she's got almost a full build, thanks to the nice pickups that Dyrus OP has had, they haven't really been able to keep her healthy. Cow Knight, it was his 2nd death of the game. He's been almost on point all the time, and he's been so dominant. It was 8-1 before the fight started. Now he's 9-2. Even when he dies, he picks up a kill. But Edgerms taking a nice advantage with Corki pushing forward. The dive is just so strong for him, and this is something that you don't see all the time because Corki hasn't been picked lately. So a really high mobility AD carry with a lot of AP scaling means that you've kind of got an unpredictable comp, and that's what Gouf Troop's been taking advantage of in these fights.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, keep having that armor shred onto Wukong for that pick is something strong, because it means that Wukong, even with that random wins, isn't going to be able to sustain as much as he would love to. And Flash Leona here, going to be baited out there. Good pickup on a Flash just by being a threatening team and walking around the jungle. But right now, again, we just had these situations where Vayne decides that farm is more important than the team. While they are having good fights, these 4v5 situations and Vayne pushing
Yeah,
up
they're gonna pop
bot
the corner
tower
though.
is
Here they
not
go. The man
good.
drop. Is it gonna come in? They land on it, eliminate it. Almost didn't quite pick it up. There's the solar flare for the second win. Eliminator Drada will go down. I cannot even pronounce her name. Count I can't get in there to defend. And now Gouf Troop up one man. They're pushing their advantage. They're looking for this inhibitor turret. Can they get it though? There are people on all sides of them. And Count Knight's gonna come the unsafe way, but he'll back away just in time. Minion Wave is a little bit far behind. I think that they don't want to take this. Gouf Troop knows they're still in a little bit of trouble. They're still a little bit behind even with the kill. Can they get it though? They're gonna dive
I mean, they
on
could
forward.
go for it. They have good focus, but now that Vayne's here, she's going to be drop damage.
Yep, nope, here comes the ultimate in from Wukong. Count will back away with this bacon grease, picks up a kill onto Villain Vanilla, and it looks like Dyrus OP looking to turn this one right on around. A triple kill for Vayne. So dominant Refine is in this late game. He's flashing forward, trying to pick up U-trips. He almost goes down himself though. A quadra kill goes in for Vayne. Can he do anything else? He is so powerful in this. The ace comes in. This is going to be a push forward. It will surely be an inhibitor for Dyrus OP, and they're tanking tower shots. Bacon Grease doesn't care.
And Bacon Grease doesn't care because he has that Spirit Visage, so he's going to dash in, get a little bit of that regen down, has that nice little chunk of ring coming from the Ravenous Hydra, so he's able to just constantly go for these. But they have some minions tanking, and Vayne's attack speed right now is super strong. She finished onto that Zephyr.
She's got the
This is
double
a
buffs too.
PD, and she's just gonna go for it. And Renekton's just gonna regen health again. Hydra with the Spirit Visage, and he's gonna be building onto that Randuin soon too. So both of those tanky people, Wukong and Renekton, are gonna go straight in the middle of those fights, pop those for the active, for the slow, and just do damage. And then Vayne gets all the peel she needs and could possibly pick up another Quadra or even a Penta.
Yeah, that was a really, really strong turnaround. I think Gouf Troop got a little overconfident. They knew that Orianna was going to come up in a minute. Still opted to keep there for the fight. They'd already popped coins, so they didn't have a fast escape mechanism. And that was just a nice catch-out. Count Knight comes in, gets the Cyclone, absorbs all the damage, and then clones away. He says, hey, I'm going to let you get me down to 10 health. I'm going to back away, and you can't do anything about it. And then Refine was in the back, poking away with those max-level silver bolts. Just so much damage. This is the power of a late-game Vayne. A ton of attack speed, combined with some armor pen, combined with a lot of... well, not even a ton of attack damage, but a lot of lifesteal. You just can't kill that Vayne.
No, you can't. And again, Morgana's using these the Black Shield effect well to keep her alive in this team fight. So the CC doesn't reach her. She's in the back line. She's farming up on health and just attacking left and right. And again, we saw the Quadra come out. So she can do so much for a team fight as long as she's in the middle, being protected with the shield from Orianna, the shield from Morgana, and the peel coming out from the rest of the tanky positions of the team.
Yeah, Dyrus OP is really looking strong in this very late part of the game. They're actually posturing for a Baron fight right now. They won't outright until they can get another ace like that. But I wouldn't count Gouf Troop out. They've been doing really strong engagements, and here they come in. Actually, it's Dyrus OP who takes start of this one. Finally, the rock will go down before the man drop even comes in, but he's going to land on everybody. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is not there. Xerath in the backline trying to poke down. Going post-tail, melts without a fight. That is a 2 for none for Dyrus OP, and they will turn onto this Baron buff right now.
And if you look at that fight, Vayne, again, being able to do so much, even in just terms of poking, 2 enemies did fall in that fight, and it's going to pick up Baron, and now they have that regen back on their side. So that is 2 Barons for them now, I do believe, in the position I came in. So just in the last about, few minutes alone that I've been here, they've picked up 2 Barons, they've picked up Dragon, they've picked up an inhibitor, so they're going to have to go in for these pushes in these lanes, so that is going to be the next thing taken out. They're going for another dragon, just for the gold.
There's no way to contest this. Gouf Troop has fallen far behind enough, and there's still 2 people down. The Baron buff is up. There's just no way they can do this right now unless they get a perfect pick. And Dyrus OP, awesome time to engage. They realized that frontline was there, but nobody else was right then. They took an advantage, and the moment Leon tried to come in to pull off the Grand Skyfall, the moment that happened, they had already gotten Dream Pops down to no health. So Mantheon dropped in, had almost no health almost immediately because it just closed in around him. Yes, he did a lot of AoE damage, but the rest of the team was too scared to engage because Leona had already fallen, and Gohan got taken out right away there. And then finally the rock melted. So at the end of the day, only the carries survived, and this was the problem. They couldn't get into doing a lot of damage. They were zoned out of the fight. DC Tears takes a little bit of damage from the static shiv. Germs doesn't really care. He's going to keep popping phosphorus bombs, and this tower is going to fall really quickly. Dyrus OP, so much burst.
And the so much burst right now is coming out enough, but it looks like Refine is just able to do so much in terms of that attack speed coming down, as well as the move speed. He's just gonna do so well, dodging out everything thrown at him, and he's just gonna keep
long as they
playing
can
this
protect Refine, he's going to keep doing this over and over again. Those 7 deaths in the early game were really not as consequential in the later part of it. Nice double ward there from Dyrus. It'll take a little more shots to clear both of those up, and they're looking to push on the bot lane and the mid lane simultaneously. Counter coming around the side. They want to take a fight here. They've got 5, but so do Gouf Troop, and they're going to force Dyrus to back away. Oh, Counter wants to pick up that inhibitor as it just respawned, but knows that he can't take it solo. They're going right back around for the second win. Bacon Grease get a little bit of damage onto him, but he's healed up right away. Nice shield from Eliminatrata. Gonna go in on this inhibitor. Minions are on the mid lane. Finally, the Rock is he's a little bit low. Really tanky though, and I don't think they can stop this siege. This is just too powerful. They get the inhibitor down really easily, almost for free, and they can look to rotate on the spot, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The siege will continue. Gohan is zoning out Refine in this fight, but for how long can he do it?
And that's going to be answered pretty soon, because they need to make or break this game right now. It's at a very just point where we're going for this bot tower. It's at half health, and they just need someone to go in on it. And Pantheon, being the person that he is going to have to clip those waves and then come down later into the team fight, possibly pick up a few kills. But it's whether or not the rest of his team can put up with the entire front line coming out from Dyrus OP in Vayne attacking onto this tower. She has wave clear, making them bunkered into their base right now, and they cannot move forward at all. At a standstill, and Renekton is doing well at zoning, and we have Wukong just constantly taking away Pantheon out of these fights.
Yep, Dyrus has managed to open a couple of holes in the defenses of Gouf Troop, and they're pressing them forward, but there's a lot of really good wave clear and AoE damage that Gouf still has. If they can land a nice stun combination, Leona can get a solar flare onto these 4 members that are sitting around in the bot lane, Wukong of course off to the side. They can pick up a couple of kills underneath their own tower, but they have to let Dyrus think that they've won it before they can do that. And so far, they really can't do much because the split siege is a little bit too powerful. So if they can take an advantage, they got to go now. Oh, they're not going to be able to pick up on Count Knight. Refine still in the back line. This is going to be a dead tower pretty soon. Here's another wave coming in. And actually, it looks like Dyrus OP wants to take this. Dream Pops gets locked up under the pool. The Tormented Soil deals a lot of damage to him. Now Bacon Grease is the one who finds himself locked up. There's the man drop coming in around the side, but it doesn't really matter. Refine is out of it. They pick up a kill onto Leona immediately, and Gohan, finding himself in a familiar situation, goes down. Count Knight zoning out 3 members of his opposing team, and yeah, that's going to be another fall. DC Tears picks up another turret. There it goes. This other inhibitor will fall. They lose 2, but they pick up 3 and another inhibitor. Dyrus looking strong in this late game. They're up 10 kills. They're up about 15k. U-Germs, can he make something happen here? No, he's going to have to go back to his own fountain. Refine is going to roll away, and finally the Rock will get shockwaved back. Almost goes down himself. Refine taking tower shots. It doesn't even matter. This is such a strong Vayne in the late game. Element is rated now the next target of U-Germs. He cannot get melted fast enough. No, he can't. U-Germs is going to pick himself up a double kill. DC Tears wants to turn it around on him. Cannot do anything. Finds herself without any teammates. And nice pickup for U-Germs, but is it going to be a little bit too late to turn this game around for Gouf Troop?
And I think a little bit of cockiness was apparent from the Vayne again, so a little bit of double lift going on is the only way to say that appropriately. But they didn't have enough because they turtled so long in trying to take that those bot towers in the inhibitor that it just kind of wore off, and it's going to be back up in just under a minute 30 now, and just excellent plays are coming out. They already have it worded. They know when it's going to be coming up. But overall, Vayne not having the protection at the end of that fight, because we did have Cow Knight falling, and we did have Orianna dropping as well. So although she did get the shield off onto Vayne right before she died, nothing else came of that. They couldn't push for those towers, and U-Germs just proving to be such a good and competent Corki right now. Good positioning, using everything he can effectively. He does have that crit because he does have the IE finished as well into this, having those cooldown boots to massively jam onto those rockets, as well as having the static shiv to proc, and the Iceborne Gauntlet just being able to do so much for him in this build.
Yeah, Dyrus really extending their lead in that one, but they stayed a little too long, and this has really been the weakness that Gouf Troop has managed to exploit. Unfortunately, it's come at the cost of 2 inhibitors, and this is a tough situation for them. They have to defend 2 fronts. The third one is really looking kind of juicy at this point. I don't really know what Gouf Troop can do to get back into this, short of getting a huge ace, a Baron, and a push up the mid lane. They might actually be able to take it, but Baron's going to go live in about 30 seconds, and Dyrus OP looking like they want it. They know that their opponents have to defend the home front because there is just way too many super minions pushing out from 2 areas. They actually could take this Baron really quickly, but they're kind of wasting time right now. There's still 15 seconds left on the spawn. They've got everything warded up. I don't know if they can push this one, though, Sasha.
I think right now, from the position that they're in, is that they have 2 waves of super minions. Although we do have an inhibitor now resurrected into that mid lane, so once they do this, they're gonna let this happen.
Fast. This is so much burst that Dyrus OP has. Vayne, the attack speed is phenomenal. It's off the charts. Baron falls in a matter of seconds. Nice pickup for Dyrus OP. They're going to turn right on around and push this mid inhibitor. Letting it respawn was not consequential at all. They know they can take it again with a horde of minions at their back.
And right now, there's not much that they can do. It looks like Dyrus OP is just going for the push in this case, and they're looking for another tower. So they're going to keep pushing onto this, just like they did in the bot lane, as we saw that almost 2-minute bot pushing out. Again, both teams are competent, and both teams are basically full build at this point, and it's all about who's going to be dropping first.
Bacon Grease gets jumped on. Here comes Cow-Knight. Nice Cyclone. He's going to hold on to everybody, but Villanilla will pop. That Zonia's, it won't be enough to defend him though. Dream Pops is gonna fall again. Full kill for Vayne. And now U-Germs left standing all by his lonesome. He will fall for the ace, and this will surely be the game for Dyrus OP, who will be moving on to the semifinals.
And this is the game, and again, another semifinals gonna be going over to Dyrus OP. We'll see if they take it this time, but excellent games coming out.
The double explosion, they got
Yeah.
it.
I'm happy to see. I love double explosions, and it was kind of weird because a bunch of animations flashed before the double explosion happened. So I was like, wait, did my game just break? But another congratulatory win going over to Dyrus OP. Well played matches, good positioning overall, allowing Vayne to just be that backline super strong.
That was a fantastic lift that Dyrus OP pulled off. It was so close, so back and forth for the longest time. And Dyrus OP prevailed. They pulled out a good win on the back of that Vayne, dealing so much damage, and just the attack speed was absolutely everywhere. But joining us to talk a little bit about it, we're going to be joined by the mid laner and the support for Dyrus OP, respectively, Eliminadrata and DC Tears.
It went from being a 14k gold league, with like we got Baron, all the way up to
DJ. Shush.
I will smack you.
You're on the stream right now.
Hi guys, how you doing?
What's up?
Good.
So tell us a little bit about that win and what your strategy was to turn around the mid-game back and forth in your favor.
Well, basically, I had to get my team in check because they're a bunch of scrubs. And, yeah,
Shots
once
fired.
I got them in check, it was...
No, we originally wanted to make some picks because they had a pretty mean team fight. Xerath does tons of damage, not to sound like Freak. And it was rough, so we were trying to pick him off for a bit, and then once we got far enough ahead, we figured we should probably just get some turrets down.
All right. There was a lot of early game turnarounds, or I guess mid lane turnarounds that kind of went back and forth. A lot of those actually ended up being in your opponent's red side jungle. So when you were taking those fights and they lasted like 5 to 10 minutes, a couple of them, what were you thinking when you started catching people out there? Did you think that Gouf Troop was going to keep making the same mistakes, and that's why you kept engaging on it?
Well, yeah, because they had the ward or just give up free turrets, so we just kept pinking and sweeping there. So I had to
Hoping
do
we could
something or
catch
they
them
lose.
behind.
Yeah. And I'm like the best Morgana NA, so
That's a lie.
kind of
Well, you certainly
ridiculous.
pulled off a lot of nice dark binding combinations, and when
Thanks,
when
pal.
those later stages of the game happened, especially at the Baron fights, it was crazy. Pantheon came in for the Grand Skyfall on a couple of occasions, but before he even got down, you'd already popped Leona. So instead of diving for the backline tanks, you guys really did a strong protect the AD carry, as it were, and you kept Vayne alive most of those, so she could just peck down even the heavy front line of your opponents.
Yeah.
Was that the build strategy you were going for?
Yeah, once we had complete control over Baron, it was pretty simple because just giving them up for free by then.
Well, and right from the start with our champion picks, Morgana, Orianna, we just wanted to keep everyone off of him. So it worked out well.
Yeah, well, congratulations. You guys will be moving on to the semifinals, where you're going to be facing off against the winner of Do It No Balls and Forsaken Gaming. Do you have anything to say to your opponents before you're going to go there?
Yeah,
Uh,
don't ban me out every time.
Don't listen to her. She's worthless. But I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Lolty Rare Form. He's a god, and my boy Lolty iTap. Yeah, they're my dudes right there. They're my dudes.
All right, and actually, I've just gotten word that you will be facing off against Forsaken specifically. So
All right.
good luck, have fun. That'll be an awesome semifinal. We'll hope to be joining you. But we're gonna kick it over to some music. Thanks to my co-caster Sasha for joining me, Kingslayer. Also, even before he had those issues with his software for the time being. But thanks a lot, everybody. It's been fantastic. We'll be moving on to the next round in just a few.
All right.